Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the South Florida Gospel News Radio studio. I'm so glad to be here celebrating Women's History Month. And our very first guest for this month is a poet and published author, my mom, Mary A. Hall. Without further ado, I'm going to bring her on and we're going to get started. Good
Good morning.
morning. How are
Good
you? Happy
morning.
Saturday.
Beautiful. Happy Saturday to you.
Yeah, you look good. How
Thank
you
you
feeling
very
this
much.
morning?
Feeling beautiful.
Okay, awesome. I'm still trying to get adjusted here. It's been a busy morning. All right, so everybody, this is my mom, Mary Hall. Like I said, I knew her as a poet way before she published her book. So we're going to talk about some of her poetry and her journey and how she came to the point of wanting to publish her poems and pretty much life history and advice for people who have retired and are looking for something to do with their life. So the two books that she published are entitled The Sparrow Watcher and Embracing Winter. All right. So yeah, she does have copies of her book and they are available on Amazon.com. And for those of you around the world who are watching, if you would please like and share this video to your page, especially my family who's watching, please share the video to your page. Thank you so much. All right, mother dear. So we're gonna get started with your history, where you're from in Georgia, and how did you end up in South Florida?
Hmm. Long journey, long journey. I was born in Blakely, Georgia, Early County, and we were not into anywhere near city, okay, near the city of Blakely. But I was born there in Early County in 1940. And from Early County, I moved to Atlanta. My mother moved to Atlanta.
Atlanta? I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, from Atlanta. And from Atlanta, we came to West Palm Beach. And after West Palm Beach, I was allowed to go to Macon to live with my aunt and my cousin for 1 year. And then back to West Palm Beach. And then I stayed in West Palm until I moved here to Poinciana.
Oh, okay. So we do know that you attended Roosevelt High School in West Palm Beach. And
Right.
like all of the students there ended up being more like family than friends, lifelong friends.
Yeah. At,
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, at Roosevelt, you got to know everybody because it was not such a huge campus. In my class, there were 120 graduates. I got to know everybody.
Okay, awesome. So you graduated, you married the football star that was there. And then from there, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot your pictures. So the first set of pictures here is you as what, 2 years old on the top there? Is that right?
Yeah, uh-huh. And that was in Early County. I think those are sweet potato vines back there behind us. My
Mm-hmm.
parents
Yeah.
were farmers, sharecroppers at the time. And the cousin that I lived with in Macon came and took, that's the only small childhood picture that I have. The second picture is when I was 6 years old. I just come from getting a vaccination of some kind, and you see a little cap there on my head.
Yes.
I had cut my mother. I had always had thick hair, thick long hair, and I had a pair of clippers my dad sent me to get from somebody. And I was just walking down the road, clipping, clipping, clipping. And when I got home, the whole plait fell off. So, so I had to have that little hat on there. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So then, after you graduated high school and everything, you started a family. And
Yeah.
so here's a picture of um they have this thing on Facebook now saying my firstborn, but you had two firstborns.
Mhm.
Yeah. So.
Actually, actually, Deborah, that was the answer to my prayer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
an only child. I have had two uncles, one on either side. I had one aunt on one side, and I had three on the other. But of those, only two of my parents' siblings had children.
Oh
So
wow.
I thought, well, I probably won't have any at my young age, I thought. And I asked, I wanted two sets of twins. Ha ha. And I got the first set, and then I asked God to cancel that because I didn't know what I was asking for.
So I heard quite a few stories about them as babies,
Yeah,
growing up, the sweet potato thing and some other things
yeah.
that was shared with me. But anyway, I mean, just look at you, beautiful woman. That's why I picked on my story when I shared the flyer, Bad Mama Jamma.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I picked that song. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to move into your book. So, you know, people who've known you for a long time know that you've always written poetry, and you were very popular for reading your poems during church service at Mount Calvary when they were
Mm-hmm.
on Australian Avenue in Riviera Beach. At least that's why I know you most from doing your poems. When did you know that you had the gift to start writing poems and you know
I
sharing them with others?
I didn't really realize that I quote had the gift, but in high school in my English class, the first thing that I wrote and shared with anybody, I had to do something on the lake at sunset, and I was like, I don't know. So then I wrote it. I thought about all the colors, the hues, the time of day, and stuff, and it turned out quite well. So that encouraged me to write something else. And the kids in class said, "Oh, that was good." So I kept at it, and it was a go-to for just being by myself a lot of times and being home as a mom with six children. It was something to do. And
Okay.
then when I started sharing it at church, people were saying, "You should write a book. You should write it down. You should put it in a book." Took a
Mhm.
while, but I did do it.
Okay. So then you came to the conclusion that you wanted to write publish your first book. Also,
Yeah.
you were instrumental with the church newsletter as well,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
having
yeah.
to put that together for a lot of years. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you were thinking about writing your first book, The Sparrow Watcher, how did you come up with that name, and what inspired you to use the poems to tell a story, with your life, and then you have a poem, and then you tell a little bit more about your life, and then you include your poetry in it. What motivated you to put
Well,
that together?
I did not know how to start. And the sparrow watcher came from just being prayerful, and I wanted to be uh, kind of spiritual inside. And then when I started writing, I didn't have a format. I didn't know what to do. And then I had all these poems, and I said, well, why not combine it,
Right.
and tell the story of my life? And I tried to put poetry that would continue the story. If I started telling a story and then I had a poem that would correspond with that story. And of course, the sparrow watcher is that biblical. If God watches over the sparrow, then I know he watches me.
Mhm.
So,
Okay,
mhm.
awesome. So, when the book was first released, we had a lot of family and friends ordering, and I think that it gives a good insight of what life was like, even before integration, your experiences in life, and what happened to your father. Um,
Yeah.
you know, that's in the book. I don't want to tell it, but please go to Amazon.com and put in a search the Sparrow Watcher. You're able to order a copy. You can get the Kindle version or the paperback version. Could you show the book one more time? It's not a small book. It's a nice,
No, it's
beautiful,
coffee table
yeah,
size.
coffee table size book. Um, Please go and get that book. Great gift coming up for Mother's Day, even. But it's a great
Uh-huh.
read. Okay, and then after that book, you felt the desire to write another book. So, what was the inspiration to Embracing Winter? And then, who is that on the cover of the book?
Embracing Winter came about, I belong to a group called Queens, and
Mm-hmm.
we are all classmates, all in the same age group. And we have these ladies were active ladies, these queens, but we have some members of our class, some other friends, they just kind of took a back seat on life. They didn't want to go anywhere, they didn't want to do anything. And, just because you're getting a little old doesn't mean that you got to give up on life. And that's why
Right.
I wrote that. Embrace your winter. There are things, there are wisdoms that we have that we can share with young people and give them some guidance. And there are so many things that we can still enjoy doing. And that's why I wrote that. And the person's
Oh,
on the cover, that's my son and my daughter-in-law.
okay. All right. James and
And
Kayleen.
my
When I first
Kayleen
saw it,
and Brandon.
I thought it was you and my
Everybody
dad.
thought
First,
it
the
was,
old
yeah,
picture. But
right.
that's my brother
But
and my sister-in-law.
her son, my grandson, took the picture, and she had shared the picture with her, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of it, because you're looking out into the future and you
Right.
can see back.
Right.
And I thought it just made the perfect picture for the book. That's
Beautiful.
how it came about. It does actually look like your dad's head there.
Okay, so inside the book, it just gives you inspiration and advice for embracing your life as you age. Like you said, that there's a lot to do. You don't just give up and just sit down and have people wait on you, but remain active. So one of the things I know that you all do, the Queens Club, you get together for the holidays, you get together for lunch, and then you also make charitable donations.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the things that I admire you guys for, like when Publix has their buy one get one free, you would do the
Mm-hmm.
BOGO, and the free item would be donated. So,
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit about what you guys do as what you ladies do as a group.
Yeah, as you said, we have, okay, on a member's birthday, we would gather, have lunch, we get gifts. At first, we were drawing names. We had each person had a person that you would follow through the year. You would send cards to, whatever, inspiration, whatever. Then it got down to doing lunch, and we still give gifts on the person's birthday. There are 9 of us, in fact, and
Awesome.
we stay in touch, call, whatever, throughout the year. But of course, the pandemic kind of put a damper on gathering, but we
Right.
still stay in touch. In fact, one of our members just had a birthday, it was yesterday. Miss
Mm-hmm.
Johnson, Julie Johnson, had a birthday
Oh, well,
yesterday.
happy
Um,
birthday.
hmm Yeah,
Okay,
and
fantastic.
yeah, and we do charity, as you said. We've helped several families. One family in particular got burned out of their home and were
Mhm.
living with somebody, and we did a really good donation to them. Also, Mr. Calloway's group, uh, when he feeds people during the holidays and stuff, we
Mhm.
donate stuff to them too, especially cakes. We donate to his cause.
I never knew that. I think he does
Mm-hmm.
that through the Youth Recreation
Yeah.
Association, where he
Mm-hmm.
goes to Villa Francisca and other areas and
Right.
provides,
Right.
Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Yeah.
dinner,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff. So that's wonderful. I never knew that you all partnered with him on
Mm-hmm.
that. And so, moving right along, since it is Women's History Month, I wanted to talk about your life in addition to church, some of the things that you were involved in. I know it Planned Parenthood, and then also with the youth in the community,
Mm-hmm.
teaching etiquette and different things like that. Could you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, we had Planned Parenthood, and I want to put a pin right there. And it's such a good thing. You'd be surprised. With children, they have a program where we went into schools, spoke with the children. There was no, and there still isn't, I don't think, sex education in the schools. And you'd be surprised at the questions, the real intelligent questions that kids ask about human sexuality. And if you give them a clinical answer, they really accepted it. And I think it really helps. We had a human sexuality program at the church once, and we had to get the parents' permission to do it, to have the kids there. And we brought somebody in from Parenthood who spoke with them. Uh, of the kids who came, all the kids, the junior choir, the Usher Bowles children came. We had one parent who opted out of having their child participate. As luck would have it, or bad luck would have it, that child was the only child that had promiscuous sex and had a pregnancy because they
Right.
didn't know, we theorized they didn't know how to handle the situation. So I would
Mhm.
inform parents, if you can, talk to your children, be clinical with them. If you want to ask about body parts, talk about it. Don't leave them in the dark. That's the worst thing that you can do.
Right. I think that's very, very important. Oh, also
Mhm.
you all would invite professionals to talk to the kids.
Sure,
Career
sure.
day.
Career
Tell us
Day was
about.
Career Day was a wonderful thing. We had people from all walks of life come in and speak with the children, and you could have a good light into, do I want to do this as a career, or do I not want to do this? And one of the most interesting one was, uh, we had somebody come from the funeral home and talk about,
Really? Wow.
yeah, it was really interesting. You think that all you got to do is just get the body there and they put some clothes on and blah, blah, blah. No, if you want to be a funeral director, you need to know how to build a building, even how to do makeup, how to do all forms of lessons, but you got to know anatomy, all this stuff. It's really detailed and it's really interesting. I said, if I had to choose and could have chosen, then I would have looked into that. That's really
Right.
interesting. But we have from law to cooking to anything you can name. We had people come in on a Saturday and talk to the children. In fact, Mount Calvary had a wonderful youth ministry then, and all the kids that came through there, just about 100%, at least 90% of them went on to become great people, I would say, including yourself.
Mhm. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it really helped. Well, that part with the career day that came after we left, but while we were
Mm-hmm.
there, we traveled. We did the Brain Bowl. Um,
Rainbow.
w- yeah, we were engaged. It was something to look forward to every weekend,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was just choir rehearsal on Saturday.
Right. Yeah, talk about the choir. Then Mount Calvary had a very wonderful choir, of course. You all made a record, and I was privileged to do a poem on the back of that jacket, and
Mm-hmm.
we just had a
Oh,
wonderful
that's
time.
right. The
Yeah.
Gift of Song, the
It's,
title is
mm-hmm.
also the name of the poem. It
Right.
well for those of us who attended Mount Calvary as youth and we recorded that album and we have that album. Look on the album and you will see the poem that my mom wrote
Yeah.
entitled The Gift of Song, which is actually the title of the album also. Where's our
Well,
royalties?
yeah. I would really like to say, Deborah, interject right here, since this is Women History Month. Women are have so much to offer the world. Isn't it wonderful that God chose women to carry on his creation? Nobody would be here if there were not a woman. God chose women to people the earth. I mean, how great is that? You know, everybody on this earth came through a woman. Even Jesus had to come through a woman. And so you can't say that we the little weak, whatever. We
We
can
never
do
thought about
anything,
that.
anything women can do. Anything that you do, you've probably been taught by a woman from infancy. We have to be the teachers to carry on, you know. So
Right.
please, people, don't belittle us.
I want to thank everybody for watching, tuning in, and sharing. Your granddaughters are on here. Alicia's on here. She said you better tell it, Grandma.
Uh, oh, I got to talk
Ooh.
about my forthcoming book too.
Oh yeah, she
It's
has a
gonna be
new book that's coming out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's gonna be called Whispers of the Spirit, and that
Okay.
title comes from everything that I write, I receive. I don't just, I mean, I actually receive it, I think, through the Spirit. So look for it's a book of poetry, all poetry this time, no veering off, just all poetry. And I think your listeners would like it. It's forthcoming.
Okay. So the new book is called Whispers in the Spirit, and it will
Whispers
be
of the Spirit, of the
okay. Let me
Spirit.
change it. Of the Spirit. Okay, let me go back and change
Mhm.
that. So all poetry for you, for those of you who love poetry. Remember, we used to do the poetry with Sister Ife. I've been trying to find
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah, Sister Ife. That was a beautiful program. And
Hmm.
that gave me an outlet back then. And I wonder what happened to that,
Yeah, we
her
used to
program.
meet down in Pleasant City, and then it moved to
Yeah, City
Riviera Beach
Hall.
City Hall lobby. And there you had,
Mm-hmm.
she would have it set up real nice with the incense and other stuff. And it was great. So we do have
Mm-hmm.
the poetry festival coming back to Riviera Beach in April of this
Mm-hmm.
year. And I am looking forward to that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now most of you have shared some of your poems to your Facebook page. Um,
Yes.
and you write according to sometimes, and I'm not speaking for you, but I'm just saying, um, to what's happening in the modern day
Right.
world. It's like an artist when an artist paints a picture
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
about what's going on around them. They say art
Mm-hmm.
imitates life, life imitates art, and that's how I see your poems are.
Yeah.
Depending on what's happening in the world sometimes, and then you'll just write about it, and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, how did she come up with that?"
Yeah. So poetry is just imaginative, and it's a visual interpretation of words. It's it is the soul's music without pictures. That's how I see poetry, and its meanings may be easily understood, or sometimes you have to kind of dig, you know, for that meaning. Uh, Two people may read a poem and each one may see it a bit differently, but it's according to how you interpret it.
Right. Um, So what we're going to do is talk about both of your books again. They're available on
Mhm.
Amazon.com. The Sparrow Watcher and Embracing Winter. So if you put in the title in Amazon and another bunch of books come up, put in
Mhm.
her name, put Mary Hall and Mary
Yeah.
A. Hall, and then the books will come up that way. Please support her. Uh, Thank you very much. Someone just asked, when is the festival? It is in April of this year. I want to say April 10th, but don't quote me on that. I'll share the flyer to my Facebook page. Let's see if I can get you on there. Would you like to read a poem during the poetry festival? I'm gonna do my best and
Really,
contact the
sure.
promoters to see if I can get you on there and also have your books available for purchase during the poetry festival. But last year, let me talk about this poetry festival. It was great. It was well attended, great music, food vendors, great poets out there. It was very, very nice. And I'm talking about poets from all over the US came to Riviera Beach for the poetry festival. It was, like I said, festival is very nice, great weather and everything. So if you have time, please make plans to attend the poetry festival this year. Expect it to be bigger and better this year. Let me see if I can find out the date for when it's coming. And Mrs. Hall, while we're waiting for that, is there anything else that you wanted to share about your life or your books?
I'm just proud of my family, the six of you all, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, my ex boyfriend, which is your father.
What? I had to explain that.
That's my husband. My ex boyfriend is my husband. And long, long time we've been together. We
This
have
made
good days.
62 years this year,
A little bit more, I
right?
think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Mary is longer than that. I always get corrected by him every year on that.
Anyhow, I am a happy, healthy great grandma with my two
That's
new
good.
nieces. I'm enjoying myself every day. I make
Mhm.
sure to try and get some joy out of every day that God gives me.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Okay. So this picture that's on the screen now, I think that you all were downtown West Palm Beach.
Yeah,
Was
that
that
was at
early
Clematis.
Sunfest? Oh, Clematis, when they
That
used to
was
do the
Clematis
Clematis
by
by
night.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
Clematis by night back in
Mhm.
the day. Wow. And then
Mhm.
one of my other favorite pictures of the two of you together is this one right here. So who would I look more like, you or him? Hold on.
uh, Looking at
Sometimes
you
I look in the mirror and
dedicated.
I see you looking back at me.
Yeah. You remind
hmm
me of your grandmother, your grandma Fanny.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I get
mhm,
that a lot.
mhm.
All right, so
Yeah.
we have come to the end of our show. It has been a fantastic 30 minutes hanging out with you, mother. The looking in the comment section to see if anyone has any more content. I mean, I'm sorry, questions. Any questions? This one says Mary A. Hall is indeed a role model for all ages, is a phenomenal poet.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I think you're Deborah. I'm a little bit nervous on camera
Why?
here, but
I told you you would be talking to me.
but one more thing, please, please, young people, go and register and vote. Your vote counts. That's your
Yes, that's
voice.
important.
If you don't vote, it's like not eating. I mean, you're going to suffer from it if you don't. Don't let anybody tell you that voting does not count. It does count. Please, please, please go
Right.
register, go and vote.
Right. And if the vote wasn't that important, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take it away from you. So
Thank
please
you
register
very
to
much.
vote,
Thank you very
especially
much.
your local election is way more important than the presidential election. We get
Right.
more people
See?
voting for president than we do local. Well, that's where it
Right.
really counts. That's where the money is in your
That's
local
where the money
election
is.
and electing the right people for the job. So
That's right.
please, especially Riviera Beach, Lake Park, West Palm, if you have an election going on, please get out and vote. You can early vote actually today and tomorrow, 10 a.m. to
Mhm.
7 p.m. And then again on Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Mhm.
And one more thing, Amber and I were talking about we should do a family reunion. We've never had one. And so I was
Right.
thinking this morning we could do virtual. We don't have to drive or fly or whatever because I have enough space on here where all of us can get together on one screen and have a family reunion. And I will say, looking at the numbers, with you on as a guest, this is the largest audience we've had so far.
Mhm.
Period. And we
On,
started last year with South Florida Gospel News Radio broadcast.
mhm.
So thank you.
On the family reunion part, uh, COVID will disappear, hopefully, and we
I hope
can
so.
get together. Okay. For all the people that are watching, I thank you. And I
Mm,
hope you get my book and I hope you enjoy them. And that's it.
yeah. So let me show the books again. So when you go to Amazon.com,
Mhm.
um, put in the Sparrow Watcher, and make sure you put the Sparrow Watcher, or you can just put her name in Mary A. Hall or Mary Hall, and her books will come up. That's the Sparrow Watcher, and that's Embracing Winter. So you can put Embracing Winter, but they have so many authors on there. But if you put in Mary A. Hall, her books will come up, and we appreciate you. Thank you, Mom, so very much for coming on talking to us. I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
But I
Thank
know
you,
you have
Deborah.
things to do today. Very welcome. And I want to thank your production assistants for setting everything up this morning to make it possible for us to be able to do this. I appreciate you very, very much. And on that note, that is the end of our broadcast. Thank you all for supporting and watching South Florida Gospel News Radio in the studio on this Saturday morning. We will see you next time. Bye,
Bye.
Mom.